Welcome back to another episode of the Beingness podcast. Today we have a very exciting topic that we've been wanting to talk about this for so long, and we're so excited to bring it to you.
Drum roll, it's about SP.
Specific person.
person. Before we dive deeper into this, today we are definitely not talking about how to manifest your SP. Like, this is so outdated. SP is like a huge topic in the manifestation community, of course. I guess it's even like the most popular topic,
Especially in the Nebel community too. Everyone just wants to manifest a specific person. We hear all these seeming success stories from all these, coaches or gurus. But really tap into it. And behind the seeming success story, how do they truly feel? How is this relationship? Is it even lasting, or are you constantly trying to control it even after the initial success? And why do you even want this specific person? It's most of the times it's coming from lack, insecurities, wounding. We're so passionate about this topic because we both have personal experiences around this. And yes, of course, anything is possible, of course, but once you get it, is it really what you want?
Yeah, and I feel like choosing one specific person is actually you giving your power away to an outside source or to another person, and it brings you into the state of only feeling complete once you got this person. And yeah, I mean, it requires a lot of effort to do this, like back to mental diet, to visualizing, to act as if to embody the state, or how would you feel if you already have this person, blah blah blah. I mean, you can use it and you can test your power, but we would invite you to not do this from a place of desperation. Like, a lot of people are so desperate and actually operating like really from a state or a place of being a limited, separate human being, which just implies wanting control, feeling lonely, and whatsoever, and especially feeling needy. And yeah, we are here to help you break free from that. And yeah, and by the way, a huge thing is it is just about allowing for allowing success to come to you. And yeah, like, this is the key for um effortless manifestation.
Yeah.
And this is why we emphasize talking a lot about beingness rather than talking about human beings, because you are more than just a human being. And this is the little secret which has a big impact on how your manifestation game unfolds. Because there are like two perspectives from which you can manifest. Like, from the place of being a limited human being, which comes from a place of separation, or you from a limitless, infinite spiritual being, which comes from a place of oneness and connection with everyone and everything you encounter.
Yeah. And I just want to specifically talk to the whole SP community, so to speak. Like, there's such an addiction to a specific person because it's rooted in lack. Like, there's such a focus on thinking that getting the specific person will bring you a certain feeling, or what you're designed to feel. So rather than focusing on the feelings of what you actually want, which is, the most amazing relationship with the man or woman of your dreams, being so fulfilled in a relationship, you condition your feeling and of, you know, what you actually want onto a specific person. And that is ultimately giving away your power, because even if you try to not put this person on a pedestal, you are like, you know, this whole talk of, you know, put yourself as a prize, see yourself as a prize, and your SP not as a prize. But just the fact that you're trying to manifest a specific person while being so attached to them, bringing you a certain way of feeling and outcome, there's no way that you're not putting them on a pedestal. It's just you're giving your power away to that. And, you know, when you manifest from this infinite beingness space, you actually don't need a specific person. Like, you're open. And ironically, like, that's a space when you could actually most likely end up with your specific person or someone even better. But just this neediness and trying to control, especially another, you know, human limited self too. Like, sure, we are all one and we influence, but where you're doing it from, you're not going to be happy. You're not going to have the desired feelings that you thought you wanted. You know, even if you manifested your SP, like, I speak this from experience. And looking back, I just want to save you all that trouble, all that mental conflict, and all that inner resistance, because it usually comes from a place of not feeling enough from yourself, not feeling complete, feeling of, you know, needing external validation to be loved, to be accepted, and you feel that your specific person is the only way that you're able to have the kind of happiness that you want.
Yeah, exactly. And yeah, as Ariel just said, when you think you like only this specific person can fulfill your desires, or that only this person is your desire, then you are most likely, as I mentioned before, operating from a place of separation. And like you, likely you will feel like you need something or someone to make you complete. And this this often just ends in a toxic relationship, or like emotional attachment, and which is basically or totally not a lovely, healthy relationship. And yeah, we are really here to help you, to disarm you from that, because you have to realize that you are already complete. I mean, but the human mind, the so-called monkey mind, doesn't really get it. And so it is really not about convincing your human brain or suppressing the subconscious mind. It's more about experiencing your true nature. And yeah, when you really go deeper on what's behind this person, what's behind this desire, then it's truly the feelings, and the feelings of being loved, of being one, of safety, of whatever. And yeah, when you see this, those are actually just parts of your true nature. And yeah, like those are your true desires. Like every desire, when you pull it back, it's just mostly about those feelings of love, security, control, abundance, well-being, and some others.
Yes, it's always the feelings that are at the core. And, you know, there's so many, like, we're just here to bust all these myths about the, like, so many people are glorifying, you know, having it, you know, manifested in SP. Sure, it's like a good way to initially experience your infinite power, infinite self. But if you keep attaching to it, you start pulling back the glitter. That's what I call it. And you see how things as they truly are. Even for people who have manifested their SPs, like how truly fulfilled are they? How truly fulfilling is the actual relationship? And and it's like I feel like SPs are an attempt to control um, the how of getting what you want, like the way of getting what you want, because your true desire is actually the feeling. Um, and sure, it could be a relationship, but it's a specific a feeling of that relationship.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. And I would invite you. I mean, of course, you can go into a relationship whenever you want, but it's so much easier and will be so much more fulfilling when you found the love you are seeking within you and awaken it within you. And just knowing and really, really knowing that you are already perfect and complete and you don't need someone or something to make you feel complete. So I mean, you, of course, you are god of your reality, you create your reality, and I don't say you shouldn't focus on a specific person per se, but what you can do is like, yeah, being clear on what you want. So when you see a specific person, or when you are focused on a specific person, so maybe you are really attracted to their looks or to their personality, and I mean, you can be clear, like, this is what you actually want from someone. I don't say you shouldn't have high standards. In fact, you should, because you should know your worth. And therefore, I personally keep my standards high as well. And I used to be so humble and so like easygoing, or like really yeah, lowering my worth by lowering my standards, because so many people around me actually influenced that. Like, yeah, you shouldn't have such high standards. And now I'm like, why not? I mean, if you keep your standards high, you actually keep the standards of others high as well. And so everyone can have high standards, and it's not a bad thing, it's actually a good thing, because you just know your worth.
Yeah, like, and I think it's important to separate, like, getting clear on what you want, including like your actual truest standards versus conditioning that on coming it or looking a certain way. Because that's essentially what, a specific person, if that desire isn't rooted in the purity of, like, wholeness and completion of the love that you already are, and your actual desires, which are essentially your actual standards, that you first have to embody in yourself, right? In order to reflect that, manifest that as a reflection in your physical reality. But just, when you, just this grasp of the ego to how it has to look in the manifestation of a specific person, that's what trips most people up and keeps them stuck in this constant cycle, and often into a relationship of codependency, toxic wounding, because you're essentially using that person to mean something about yourself. That if you have that person, it means certain things about yourself, and that without that person, it means, that maybe you're not good enough, that you're not worthy of love, or that you're a failure. Like all these stories and personal meaning that you're attaching about yourself to a specific person, that's what we're inviting you to look at. And of course, if it happens that you are very detached and you feel very loved and whole, yet you just purely desire to have a wonderful relationship with this person, then of course, like, you can manifest it, but it will no longer be so much efforting. Like, you wouldn't even focus so much on it, because it's like it's already unfolding effortlessly.
Yeah, exactly. And it's not, yeah, and you are in the complete place of not needing someone. And the paradox here is the more you detach from something, the more it begins to flow. And yeah, like, and when you get to a place of non-detachment, this is where you actually allow to open the gates. And yeah, when you fully surrender um your desires or your wishes to beingness, um yeah, like it's all about letting go. And yeah, and then you just allow things to happen, and you are more acting from a place like, yeah, I like, your higher self surprise me. But once again, it's not something or someone else, or there was no external universe, there was no external God who delivers you what you want. Um, because actually you create your desires, and therefore you deliver your desires to you, but not from from the place of a human being, but more from your higher infinite beingness self, which is pure energy and pure infinite perfection potential. And yeah, like when you let go of this external world, which seems to be so real, when you just strip back all of that, then yeah, complete wholeness, emptiness remains, which is just pure energy. And this is what we are all made of.
Yes, and that, we're always here to guide you back into that pure energy space, that pure that I am consciousness that we all are. And, you can't get there with the mind. You just cannot. That's why all these techniques, mental diets, visualizations, all affirmations, they get you only so far, but you're still limiting yourself. And ultimately, if you truly desire an SP, and you're still doing all these affirmations techniques, you're actually keeping that desire further away from you, rather than if you just allow it to be and rest in your already completion, wholeness. And this is a journey, that's individual to each of us too. So just have compassion with wherever you are at, on your journey. If you find that that you're still very wanting a specific person because you want to be loved by them specifically, really go into that, and allow whatever emotion, feelings to arise, really allow it to process, and then you can release it, right?
Yeah.
Because that's what we're doing. Like, we're living in human suits of years and years of limitation and conditioning. um, so we're here to really unlearn and decondition, to go back to our truest nature, where manifestations are instantaneous and miracles are consistent.
Yeah. And yeah, since we all are here to have the human experience, every emotion is to be embraced. So you don't need to run away from your feelings, or you don't need to be afraid of your emotions. In fact, when you just allow yourself to process them, to really feel them, then you don't give power to them. Same goes for thoughts. When you just allow them to go by, it's just as clouds, then they don't have power. Then they are just a small thing of energy. And even if you go through a heartbreak, it doesn't mean that you are heartbroken. And yeah, like, don't identify with it. It's okay. And at the end of the day, you know you are okay, and you will always be. And yeah, so like be okay where you are now, accept it, but at the same time don't hold yourself back. Like um you can choose who you want to be every single day and every second, even every second. Again, time doesn't really exist. And you can learn from your experience. Like you are your own best teacher, and you can quote the most from your own experience, and not like being so focused on other success stories. Of course you can use them as kind of inspiration to see how powerful you truly are, but don't attach to it, and don't say, okay, yeah, I need to be as successful as them, and if they can manifest their speed and I can do this as well. Of course you can, but don't make a job out of it.
Yes, like this whole making a job out of manifestation and trying to manifest that thing, like that is still like you're operating from so much doing still, so much effort, so much control, so much, which is essentially struggle, pain, and suffering. Because the more you're trying to make a job out of it, you're continuously in the place of not having. So you're constantly in this place of lack and not having your desires. So of course, that's essentially what you're manifesting in your so-called outer reality. And you'll eventually find that there is no inner outer, that everything is already here within you, and that you're not even your body, right? The body is within you, who you truly are. And just when you realize how infinite and how powerful you are, you wouldn't even get caught up about a specific person or anything specific at all. You just let it flow, and you'll just be living in such happiness, completion, love, like so consistently.
Yeah, and when you truly grasp it, again, the ego mind doesn't really get it. But when you really see that everyone is you pushed out, that everyone is basically you, that everyone and everything is just an individual expression of you, then it's no such thing to get to a place where you love yourself, like not working for it. And whenever you encounter someone or something else, then it's just about actually learning more about yourself. Like when I meet someone new, I feel like so much more connected to them than before I stumbled across the law, because I know, hey, there was no separation. So this person is actually me, even though this sounds weird from a human experience, from the human perspective, but in fact, it's the truth. And yeah, and from this place, there was also no competition, and not something like, yeah,
Third
stealing
parties.
your boyfriend or something like that. So yeah, we really want you to marinate in that, and really yeah, even meditate on that, and really, yeah, ponder on what we are teaching you. um yeah, because this whole journey is, with all relationships, is just learning more about yourself, which is a
Yes.
beautiful thing.
Yes, it's all a journey back to the self and to who you are. And I feel like this is wrapping up nicely now. It's just when you come back home to yourself, at the same time, all your relationships, from romantic to friendships to all sorts of connections, they elevate and they grow to a whole nother level. And you just have to be willing to let go of the mind in your control, because really control is an illusion too, because everything is perfect already when you are operating from your infinite nature. So there's this control that's way beyond what your human mind can ever conceive of. So we're just inviting you to marinate on that, and be willing to explore that infinite space of who you really are.
Yeah, and the best thing you can do for your relationships, and not only for your romantic one, because you can, like, SP or specific person, you can also connect this to friendships or your family. And the best thing you can do is really to unlock this love, this infinite and unconditional love in yourself. And when you get to this place, again, there was actually no place to get. It's more like peeling back all these layers. And when you really know that you are whole and complete, then you actually allow others to be this as well. And so when you love yourself, you automatically feel so much love for others, and you are doing so much more good than trying to force something in the 3D, in the so-called 3D.
Yes, and that, brings us back to Neville's quote, there's nothing and no one to change but self. And that has been so true. Yeah, both of us, like me too, I've been able to transform so many of my relationships just by going within and changing myself, but not from a limited, perspective from the egos, but from the infinite self. Um, yeah, and allowing the natural concepts of self to shift from that infinite space. Yeah, it's all about you.
Yeah.
So we hope you enjoyed this episode so far.
Yeah, and as always, whenever you have questions or want us to get deeper in some topics, or just have some suggestions, then please go ahead and leave us a comment or write us an email or a message. And if you want to share your own experience or even a success story, then we are so open for it. We are open for guests, and we actually love to have some of you guys here on our podcast. So thanks for listening.
Yes, we love to have a lot of you on and connect with you all. And yeah, stay tuned for more to come.